I got accepted to the robotics team, and I participated in first robotics competitions for 5 years. It was the best experience of my life. And they changed me completely. They gave me my confidence back. They gave me my English. They gave me my entrepreneurial skills. They exposed me to so many things. And so in my last year, 2018, we won semi-world champions.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Hello and welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. I am so excited to be hosting May Piamenta, the CEO and co-founder of Vee, for a very, very interesting episode. 22-year-old May Piamenta, co-founder and CEO of Vee, founded Vee together with her two partners, Gil and Avi, to make social impact easier than ever. Since her teenage years, May has been passionate about volunteerism. Before founding Vee in 2019, she led a global nonprofit team where she managed 10 million volunteers in over 32 countries. All the work was done manually, and she found existing technological solutions to be enterprise-oriented and difficult to use. So, she decided to act. And today we're going to hear her story. Thank you, May.
I'm so proud to be a very, very small part of this journey. Thank you for allowing me to take part as a small investor, but really you're on a mission to make a significant impact, not just on organizations, but by virtue on a lot of different nonprofits, and by virtue a lot of people around the world that are going to be benefiting from the work that you're doing at Vee. So I'm excited to unpack a little bit about what Vee is, and even more importantly, who May is, and how does May and Vee sort of coexist together, and your why. So May, tell me a little bit about yourself. You have a different type of a background, first because of your age as a CEO of an awesome company, but tell me a little bit about who you are and how did you end up starting Vee?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. A bit different background, but just for everybody here that will listen to us, I'm May. In New York, I'm May, so I need to correct everyone that it's May. So May, I'm 22. I'm originally from Dimona. I'm not from the Tel Aviv area that everyone knows. So I grew up in Dimona. As a small town in southern Israel, and I'm the eldest. I have two siblings, Oz and Hila, both younger than me, and they're amazing. I love them. And I grew up, to a family, great parents, not connected to tech in any way, super, super old fashioned, in workforce. And when I was 8, I lost my best friend to cancer. Her name was Efrat. And Efrat and I, we were best friends, neighbors, together all the time. She wouldn't let anyone else to be with her when she takes medicine, except of myself, and we were super close. And after a couple of years, she passed away from the cancer disease. And after she passed away, I took with myself and on my heart the feeling that I want to give back to her for all the values and everything we've been through together. And when I was 13, I saw an article of Zichron Menachem, the Israeli nonprofit that supports cancer, kids that suffer from cancer. And I saw an article of Zichron Menachem requesting girls to join their effort and cut the hair and help them with wigs, preparation, and also unique calling for girls to donate their roots. And donate their roots for cancer hair loss research. So I saw this article and I knew that it has to be me, and I need to do that. And I'm not going to do it like everyone else. I want to go big time. I want to cut my entire hair. I was 13.
Wow.
So I came to my mom saying, Mom, I'm cutting my hair. I'm shaving everything. I want to donate it. I want to help them. And she told me, you're crazy. You're never going to do that. All of this stuff that mom has to say when her daughter comes up with this speech. The day after, I had no hair.
No way. No
Yeah.
way.
The day
Okay.
after.
Here we're gonna have a picture, I guess, if we are doing our editing right, of my with no hair. I had no idea wow, that's incredible. At 13, I can only imagine
Yeah.
going to school the next day, as a 13-year-old with no hair. That's not
It was terrible.
wow.
It was terrible. I was like from being, a new girl in, high school or let's say mid school. I came and I looked like a boy. I had a hat on my hair. I'm going to give you pictures of everything so you can just make a joke out of it. But it was super, super, super
Oh, it's
weird.
incredible.
And especially at that age. And I came home the day after and my grandfather saw me. He's like, you're insane. And I bought a wig. I was so ashamed going, walking around with no hair that I bought the wig. And my grandfather took the wig and put it in the trash, tell me you just cannot let yourself be so, give this hair so much space in your confidence. And hey, he just threw it away. And from
Wow.
this day, I was with no wig. And I suffered from terrible let's say kids violence. It's not, actual violence, but, having no hair and, 7th grade was a big challenge. So I shifted and I moved to the other school in Dimona.
Wow.
And lucky me, I landed in the day, the school in the day they were hiring and recruiting for the robotics team in the school. So I was like, okay, I'll go and I'll see what it is. And I signed up for two majors. One was fashion, one was robotics. And I did both. So with my fashion side, I opened a website of swimwear and I ran it for a year. It was super cool. But then I got accepted to the robotics team and I participated in first robotics competitions for 5 years. It was the
Wow.
best experience of my life. And they changed me completely. They gave me my confidence back. They gave me my English. They gave me my entrepreneurial skills. They exposed me to so many things. And so in my last year, 2018, we won semi-world champions in
Wow.
Houston, Texas. This team from Dimona.
I love this. I'm sending this straight to Dean Kamen, who created First Robotics. I think it'll put such a big smile on his face. That is.
Please do.
Tell me a little bit about your transition. So you're mentioning transition to the new school. I suffered from massive bullying as a kid as well, coming back from the US and transition school as well. So I can empathize a little bit with the situation, but sort of this robotics and the different entrepreneurial things that you were doing, and I'll classify them as entrepreneurial for now. Tell me a little bit about the confidence that it instilled in you, and how did this shape sort of your outlook now? You're still 22. Now you're following that same path as a CEO of an amazing company. What did that do to you, sort of growing up?
That's such an incredible question because when I did something, when I shaved my hair, I did something for a good cause. And when you get such terrible response from people, it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I did something for such a beautiful cause and I came to school proud of myself. And then you get such terrible responses from all around. It contradicted, in my head. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be here. I want to be around people that will understand the purpose of what I did. And I think that from this day that I moved, it was longer than that. I came to my mom saying, I'm not going back there, whether you're sending me to the second school or I'm not going. And, eventually they had to because I was so, persistent about it. So when I came to them, when I'm taking this experience, let's say today, I know that for me, both as a founder, a CEO, a friend, a girlfriend, whatever, a colleague, I always want to see the reason of why a person does something, whether if it's good or bad, because the reason means so much. Looking from the outside, my mom got SMS messages. Is Mai okay? Does Mai have cancer? I mean, the outside and the external look and the external image of a person can say 1,000 different things. Understanding the reason and the purpose and where a person comes from can change the picture completely. And this is what I embraced from this experience as a person.
Incredible. I mean, I'm sure that we can unpack so much more, what's, your journey up until now. Tell me a little bit about the formation of Vee, because you're talking about the reason, the why, the giving back. It sounds like Vee is sort of encompassing a lot of these experiences you've had into one coherent strategy in a very scalable way. So what is Vee, first of all?
Yeah, so Vee is the network of good, as we call it. So we're building the network of good that will collect and let's say connect people from all around the world around social missions. Whether if they're the mission creators, what are the people that are coming and helping the missions. Now it's only through volunteering, but soon to be in many, many more channels of help, like donations and more. And in our vision, Vee is not just helping the nonprofits or the people that own the missions to scale them and to get the help. But eventually, we aim that our technology and platform will eventually connect the people that need help directly with the people that help them. And this is our Vee's mission. And we monetize this beautiful thing by helping the larger organizations like, companies, ministries, let's say municipalities, schools, universities, etc., to do good at scale. So let's say that a company like, let's say Sisense want to volunteer with 600 employees, through the whole year. So they use Vee in order to connect their employees to missions around them and to get them together and to report their hours and get tax refunds, etc. So everything goes up to the B2B side. But we are looking at Vee and how can we do this at scale?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going different from all of our competitors that are going top down, direct to decision makers, blah, blah. And we're attacking this bottom up, super, super scale, taking city by city all over the world. It's tough, but it's definitely possible. And my why, where I came, the idea, let's say, or the solution came from my experience managing volunteers at first at the organization that ran the competition. So when I, as a student at first, we had to give back as a team to our local community to participate in the competitions. But after a couple of years, we got an email from First themselves requesting Mai to join the CSR team. At first, they picked one student from each country, and I was the one from Israel. So that was super cool. And this is where I was exposed to the challenges and the potential of the CSR, the corporate social responsibility world. And it was so early. I'm talking with you about 2016. Nothing before COVID, before everything. And now it's exploding. Every company knows that it's a must-have thing to do it now. So the transformation was crazy, and we're going to be the technology that puts everything together.
I love it. I want to understand a little bit better. I'll call it the consumer behavior, if you will. Traditional employees, everyday people. I think that it speaks also to the initial experience you've had with the reception of cutting your hair or generally giving back, and sort of people are underestimating the reason behind an action and the why you're doing something, right? And so here you're effectively, you're effectively capitalizing on human capital and people that are in organizations with a very interesting bottom-up approach. But at the end, you have people that are literally giving their time and their energy through organizations to volunteer. their own resources. And so, what is sort of the consumer behavior piece of it? Is there, do you need to do a lot of market education around this? How are people receptive to this new way that they're going to be spending some of their time within the organization?
Wow, that's a great question that we ask all the time, like how to become the consumer brand even more than the, employer brand, because it's way more in that side. If they will want to do it, the problem is solved for the company.
Sure.
So for us, it comes in many ways. So first of all, we invest heavily on brand and local brand. For example, now we're on a mission to get to make Vee the #1 platform in New York and that stuff. So we're starting to do many, even local brand initiatives, Subway, even like billboards. These are things that SaaS platforms do way, like in the ride. So for us, it's very, very important because we need the actual users and people to know us, to trust us.
Sure.
We will know where to send them and what to do with them. And I will tell you something that I found very interesting in Vee is that although Vee is an employee benefit product today, most of our users don't use Vee during work. They take their kids.
Huh.
They go with people outside of work. And this is really interesting because this actually brings us to understand that we're solving a bigger problem for the people, that they not necessarily want to go to volunteer only with their colleagues. This is something that the employer wants them to do. They may not want to do that. But they do want to go with their kids or with their wife or with their friends. And this is where Vee comes in a way that because our opportunities are so diverse all around the world. We now have over 1,000 missions live on the platform.
Wow.
Which is crazy. We had 100 in the beginning of this year. So having so many opportunities enable and give us the opportunity to even, explore more new, use cases. For example, we have a building owner that is giving Vee to the, residents. We would never think about that, starting. So it's very interesting to see where it goes. And
so just to
we're
make sure,
excited.
and so you're talking about, building a brand which people trust and people understand that they want to be part of it. Now, when a building owner gives Vee to their tenants, they then can go and choose one of the 1,000 missions that speaks to their own why, right? I mean, and I guess part of the understanding here is that our whys are different. We grow up in different circumstances. We perceive the world in a different way. But I guess there is, and we can agree that every person has some why. That if we can just align that why with a need that somebody else has, then we can find a huge win-win situation. And in Vee's perspective, pretty much going off of the inspiration of SaaS companies, which is very non-traditional for such a doing good company like Vee, then you're actually able to monetize this and do it at scale, right?
Yeah. I mean, without connecting the why to a need, it is very, very hard to scale it from there. So building the network for us is just finding those whys, finding those needs, matching them locally. And this is very, very important. People from Israel won't register to volunteer for a nonprofit from Chicago. I don't know them. I'm not going to help them. I want to volunteer for something that is 10 minutes walk from my house, that I know the community. I want to help them. There's a specific kid I want to help. And eventually, when you're going to think about it deeply, we're like a startup that is not playing with minds. We're playing with hearts. We know what things will shift and the needle in the hearts of people in New York. And eventually we'll be able to know that, which people will donate to these causes. And we're going to have many, many data for fundraising platforms and even, politicians eventually of which people care about these things you're working on. So this is really interesting to look at this and in this angle. But another thing that you may find interesting is that it's not just the cause. People rather volunteer with people that invite them, even if it's not their #1 cause. I'd rather going with you to an opportunity that you like, and I'm okay with it. Okay, let's go clean the beach, but I want to do it with you, rather than go alone to something that I care about. So
Interesting.
this collectiveness, and it's very, very important. And in the product, we always try to get people inviting each other, because then the conversion is over 90% of yes. So,
Wow.
so this is also something that is very important.
I love the behavior insights that you're bringing to at the end. It's figuring out, okay, we're all people. Ultimately, every person in the world will agree that innately we want to do good. We want to give back in some capacity. Some people want to do it with resources, financial. Some people want to do it with their time. But you're figuring out how do we match a person's trait? How do we allow every person with their own why and their own capacity to do it? Whether it's in the 10 block radius of where they are, whether it's with their best friend, whether it's financially later with donations. And I love sort of the large scale thinking that you're bringing to this, and I'm personally very inspired by your story, and you're doing so much, also giving back to the community and the ecosystem here in Israel, and I'm sure that's just the start. And Mai, thank you very, very much for the great work that you're doing with Vee. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Thank you for the 20 minutes here. I can't wait to share this with the world. And thank you very much, and best of luck.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Of course.